Action's already happening, and Mixwell's had 3. It's a 2 versus 2, and we might be late into the game, but Mixwell sure as hell isn't. I'm T-Time, I'm joined by Scriv, but we're joined by one hell of a moment to start this game off with. Movistar versus Epsilon, Inferno, and the map couldn't be closer. This is, of course, a repeat of the final of the last Mountain Dew League season. So now we've got ourselves 2 CTs coming in from Ruins, heading in towards the site. There is Spellin playing not quite to emo, but to the pillar right next to it. He peeks out, he gets one, leaves Soccer alone. Soccer goes into the back lines, picks up a kid as well while he's doing so, looking for the next kill. Spellin trying to play around the pillar, and he will be successful. 3 kills for him to close it out.
Pretty nasty round overall, I would say, from everybody involved. A couple 3Ks on either side. Yeah, like you say, unfortunately, we were in a bit late there. It was interesting to see Epsilon. They picked up a fair amount of utility, opened up with a double nade down Banana to pick up the opening frag. So you would kind of expect them to take that one, but it was a little bit tougher. They walked straight past Mixwell at Sandbags, a classic, and he capitalized perfectly. So I'd say a relatively good opening pistol. Movistar Riders, though, obviously they're going to be wanting a bit of revenge here, but we're not hugely hopeful. I think we were talking a little bit in the pre-game, and ever since losing Lowell, it has kind of been a little bit of a downward trajectory for them. They've not been looking as good as, you know, as promising as they once were, unfortunately, for the Spanish side.
Listen, Scriv, you do your analysis. All I'm saying is we've got ourselves some cheerleaders on the field over towards that A site. We've got ourselves a nice little pyramid going. So, hey, I'm enjoying that, but, you know, you continue on with the actual useful conversation. But before you do, just a quick shout out to the fact that we, of course, have a third man on this cast as well who won't be speaking too much. It's Mr. Pityan Legume. But, you know what, Pityan can have some shout outs later on, as Spellin has scattered out the squad of cheerleaders waiting for him, and this is his childhood dream to go and demolish them. Mac 10 in hand, and here he goes. That's true. Finds it. Oh my goodness, Alex comes through with a bit of a punch himself as well, so it seems like Spellin just ends up giving away that Mac 10. Does get a bit of money for his troubles and gives some information over towards his teammates, but do his teammates want to contest, is the question with the Mac 10s. Doesn't look like they have much of an option, but Surreal coming in from this side is hoping to get a little bit lucky with these cheerleaders as well. Mixwell takes down Keto. That might be a sign for Epsilon to start backing off. They don't have that many players left. They don't want to lose the armor. They don't want to lose any more resources. Mixwell shot in the side of his head. Molotov to force out Mixwell, but it seems like it will end up being all she wrote. Alex takes a Mac 10 forward. Surreal will be happy with that. But, you know, like I was saying, very quick shout out to our producer and observer, Pityan Legume. I'm saying that so you guys know who to flame when auto director is turned on.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll have to see going into this next gun round. All right, let's keep to the action. I don't know, like you were kind of mentioning, it's a little bit questionable to send so many players in. Their utility is not quite as perfect as they would like it. Double nade going down Banana there, going to tag Brocky down pretty damn low. One of the more standout players for me on this Epsilon side. The young gun, as it were. I believe at the Charleroi event, where Epsilon kind of performed pretty well. They took Train off of G2 16-7, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And he was certainly one of the ones that, you know, really stood out to me. So, bit of a fan, put it that way. But we'll see. Unfortunately, at the start of this round, not going so hot for him. That's kind of the start that Movistar Riders needed as well, right? They've got the weaker weaponry in play. In fact, with the SMG still in the hands of Mopos, a very cheeky bonus buy from him. Could come back to cost them, but we'll see. There's still not been an opening pick yet, but obviously that HP advantage heavily in favor of the CTs. They're really playing things safe over on B now as well after that initial damage.
Mopos is waiting for them to come through. The SMG still ready to rain down, but he doesn't get the kill. Spellin has a chance to re-peek into Mixwell, and he takes him down. Keto takes apart Mopos now and gets a few shots through the smoke onto Alex as well, just for good measure. Now these 3 players will have to back off, rifles being saved. It was a nice little attempt from Mopos, but unfortunately he wasn't quite able to clean up Spellin and try to play from the second Orange's box. You know, just force back Epsilon, force a little bit more chaos while his teammates could maybe even look to push through a smoke, but it ends up not working out for them. So Epsilon will be taking that third round. And Scrib, I mean, Epsilon, they just had, I just remembered, they had a very poor showing versus NIP in the, well, in another league whose name we shall not mention. But this time they're looking a lot more clean. And you know what? Movistar, they're definitely facing the brunt of that.
Yeah, I think Epsilon really on the cusp at the moment of kind of breaking through this team. Obviously, for a while now, they've been using the mix. I suppose they went back to the Swedish team for a little bit, but you know, the mixed squad is what they're after. That international, well, I suppose European at this point lineup, and I think they've been looking really good. Like I say, they took that map off of G2, but then they got a little bit wrecked by Sprout. There's a little bit of a little bit more that they need, just like that extra level or two of you know, skill, team play, etc., to break through to the upper echelons of Counter-Strike. A game like this, they should be winning. We would expect them to win it, but it's not going to be easy. Maybe if they can make them look easy, though, you know, and get better and better, then they can be, you know, your NIPs of the world. They can be beating them.
And I mean, NIP in particular is one of those teams which famously does end up performing slightly poorly against lower tier squads, but let's go. There it is, all down to Mopaz. He doesn't realize there's a player who's crossed over to the crate, so he just ends up backing up. Otherwise, could have isolated him. Spellin, though, takes his chance to push forward and take down Soccer. Alex, flashbang coming in from the back lines, but in the meanwhile, Mixwell might be having a duel on the Surreal. Gets that kill, can't pick up the AK as well across the other side of the map. 50 seconds on the clock, and Epsilon, they've wound it down. Crucial's got himself a Molotov to work with, so maybe he can just try and molly out New Box. Smoke over towards Ruins. It goes. Brokey wants to push forward. He's the one with the bomb, though. They have to be careful. Smoke does end up blooming. There's a flashbang on the other side. Comes Alex. He only gets one before Crucial ends up responding. It's all to Mopaz, and they're all onto him as well. 2 versus 2 as he gets taken down. The bomb will be planted. Mixwell waiting for deaths to come through on the other side.
They've
Very interesting.
had quite a lot of time, though, I would say. Need to be careful on this one. I mean, moving in together is pretty important. Do have that kit, but not a great deal of utility to work with.
Lots of time being expended, you're right. And now they're both taken down. Simultaneous shots, Crucial and Brocky, pinpoint precision.
Yeah, I would say a little bit of a blunder, honestly. It was a 4v3. Movistar Riders still had those 2 players in on the B site. Pretty aware of the fact that it was going to be B, but both those B defenders took quite heavy faces. You know, and sure, that one player in from Coffins, I want to say it was Mopaz, did manage to pick up a kill, but he gets traded, and that gives, you know, that B control across to Epsilon pretty heavily. And then they just play the post plant really well. I think they are a lot cooler at the moment. You know, they're a lot calmer. They feel like they should be winning these rounds, whereas Movistar Riders, even though they started off with an early pick in that round, definitely playing around Epsilon, definitely playing their game, and unfortunately don't seem to be doing it so well at this point in time. Bit of a spam through the smoke, and it is a heavier B side stack. Not quite the full stack, but all the same, this could be a winnable round, especially if this kill goes the way of the CTs, and there it is. It's going to be a recovered weapon for deaths, and suddenly a 5 versus 3 in favor of the CT side.
Now, the important thing is that Mopaz has rotated back towards the Coffin side, so that smoke isn't going to be as useful as they might be thinking for Epsilon. They want to move through. Brokey should get that kill any day of the week, but it seems like Mopaz can casually catwalk across the site and be perfectly fine. Brokey now looking to remedy his mistake by continuing to push forward, but that gives enough time for the CTs to come in from behind, and those CTs are pushing through. They've got the kills to boot. Alex, Sucker, both of them enough to finish off that round. 4-1 Movistars breaks first blood.
And a round like that as well, it is a difficult one to stomach. I mean, sure, they've got fairly good weaponry, obviously got that armor, and you give away that one rifle, but as we see time and time again, especially in the realms of online CS, as soon as a team loses that opening pick against the pistols, things do tend to fall apart. A lot of Molotov damage taken there. Brocky as well going to be on the end of another nade barrage in B. So really looking too good, and Mopod's not returning fire. I suppose he's not aware of the damage that had been done, but all the same, just kind of stood there and let himself die. That's an opening pick I don't think Epsilon should have really been able to get away with.
At the end of the day, they'll take what they're given, and what they're given is Mopaz on a silver fiery platter. Now, Soccer peeks out, has been forced back immediately, which puts a lot of pressure on the Depths, and Depths will keel under that pressure, meaning Soccer's once again is the golden boy. And by the golden boy, I mean he is dead, which is probably the worst kind of golden boy you could have. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Very quick overwhelm. I'm surprised that Soccer actually backed off in the first place when Dets was continuing to peak. What's your thoughts on that? I feel like maybe that was just slightly miscoordinated.
Yeah, a little bit. And that seems to be Movistar riders all over at the moment. They pick up that one round, but as I always say, it's very, very different playing those force buy rounds, those eco style rounds where you can play a bit more aggressive, where there's less risk associated with that aggression. Replicating that kind of, win condition into a rifle round is much more challenging, kind of what we see here. So, I don't know. I think there are still clear issues. They've been rotating a couple players around since Lowell's exit with the coach Blade, I think, played with the team at one point, but they're trying to, replace him or whatever. And it just doesn't seem quite as perfect. I mean, one of the things you were saying in the pregame is Mixwell is not Alu. It seems this recipe, although it's great to see these, solid, bring back the star player of a nation goes to try and form a full team with his brethren, let's say. Worked out for Alu, but it's not quite working out the way that Mixwell would want, I would imagine, at this point in time. It's definitely been a bit of a fall from grace for him, in all honesty, since the Optic days.
You analysts don't have a romantic bone in your body. He is fighting for his country, he is fighting for his people, and he is fighting for the win to try and get into ESL Pro League. And of course, that's what we have online at the Mountain Dew League Season 31, sponsored by Loser Tears. And now we're going forward. Epsilon. They're going to be met with quite a few terrorists coming their way. They've got 3 players inside that A site. Mixwell breaks first blood. That will be Spellin going down. Mixwell immediately after Molotoving off mid, which means Soccer can peek out from behind. He gets 2. Leaving it into 2 versus 4 with Crucial and company being forced back. Keto as well, just making noise, revealing their position. They might be able to pick up the bomb, but beyond that, they don't have much hope left in this round. Even that bomb seems to be off limit for them, as Mixwell will try and fire through the smoke unsuccessfully.
Definitely a winnable round for them here, though. Seeing them kind of throw opportunities like this away. That's a pretty quick flick from Crucial. Another one of the star players for Epsilon, of course, on that up. Loves to pull it out on the T side, regardless of what map it is. So you've got to watch out for him as he takes down Mixwell, and suddenly things have opened up. The 1 versus 1 on that trade. Bomb plant just about going to come in. The one thing here, though, is Keto is on 4 HP. Swaps across to the AWP, but a missed shot, and I think it's all over for him here. No utility available for either player, and the timing works out perfectly for Mopaz there. Yeah, Keto out in the open. Not really much he could do.
I mean, the stones on that man to take the peek forward like that. He was hoping to catch Mopaz off guard, but Mopaz, after the previous round where he hadn't fired back, he says enough is enough, and he will end up taking that one away for his team, but that is a costly one. You're still only taking 1 player forward, and Epsilon, off the back of that, they're saying, you know what? You're on the CT side. You have to buy expensive weapons. Why don't we just try and take the fight to you?
Pretty true, in all honesty. And now we're getting into one of the kind of cleaner rounds, I guess, of the game so far, where Movistar riders actually have a really good chance to pull things back. As you can see, Surreal already feeling the burn on that Galil, so that he can get the full utility, though. Definitely could have pulled out an AK. But clearly they've got a plan for the nadage that they've bought up. But if the CTs win this round, it's going to break that Epsilon economy somewhat. And therefore they'll probably have to go down to an eco or half-buy type situation. So a really, really important round for both teams here.
Mixwell's got a gap in the smoke to work with. That's problematic. Now he knows exactly when Spellin will be coming through on the other side. So he's looking and waiting for those pretty ankles to show themselves to him. This is Victorian era Counter-Strike, and Mixwell is not playing around, but he's been forced back by those flashes. Soccer takes down Brocky and repositions himself underneath the balcony immediately, looking for more, and he should have gotten it, but it seems like Keto and Spellin are too good at breaking down this site. Alex as well, blocked off by a smoke. And it will be a bomb going in, but not before Mixwell can get a kill on Crucial, putting it to a 3 versus 3.
Looking for more as well. Oh, that was very close.
Oh!
He gets it the second time around. Mixwell knows his angles. It's such a common spot for somebody to be hiding in all fairness. But all the same, the odds of it being landed. Beautiful stuff from him. It's now opened this site up, and Mopos with a quick flick onto the first. Allows for the second to come in. I mean, a pretty clean retake in all honesty from Movistar Riders. And like I said, a really important round for them to pick up. With the bomb plant, there is going to be some money dotted in there. I think they'll probably go for sort of a half buy, maybe some pistols, you know. But ultimately, it should be another round for Movistar Riders. This is the real, you know, we call these the easy rounds, but sometimes teams make them a little harder than they have to be. Epsilon do still have a bit of a chance, especially because they've gone for this AK. You never know. Movistar Riders, if they're not clean, if they're not prepared for this, could definitely get caught off guard.
Absolutely, especially when you consider that Spellin's kind of on a lone adventure with the AK. He's not really got too much backup yet. He says, let's go get some real estate. Into the apartments he goes. We'll be taking a peek out straight up. Debts, of course, behind that wall. But that's something Spellin doesn't really know yet. That's why he's called for some backup to come in the form of Brocky. Spellin waiting for any sort of information to be revealed away to him, waiting for his teammates to force a rotation over towards the B side, and this is where if he can just try and get it. Oh my god, that's beautiful from Brocky. He baits out Surreal like a champ. That means Soccer's got a little bit more to try and contend with. On the other side of the site is still Debts. Molotov comes through. Will be stopping pursuit for a little while, but doesn't realize Spellin's already crossed it, and he's got the kill. There's the AK we were talking about in Soccer. Well, he's been forced to contend with 2, and he's going to get away with only 1. This is where the man in the back lines, this is where Keto comes into play as well, because if they want to try and save, they've got nothing, so Mopos will continue charging forward where Alex just died. 1 versus 3. 30 seconds on the clock. Tries to wait peek out, but Brocky's got the kill.
Now I'm a little puzzled by Alex's move there. It's a 3 versus 2, and I was about ready to comment. A really good Molotov, really good timing from him. That bomb being dropped in such an awkward spot for the T side means that they have to play into the CTs. And yet, despite that fact, Alex takes an over-aggressive peek when they're already a man down, and needlessly dies for it, and then kind of forces his teammate to do the same thing. I think they had that flank coming in from B, right? So if the two of them had just waited with the bomb and, you know, kind of had quasi-control of it, then there's a world in which they just kill that flanker and then they can move in together, 1-for-1 trade, maybe win the 1 versus 1. I'm not so sure. We'll see in this round. It's been a really aggressive start to this round, which is something a little bit different. 1-for-1 trades, crucial. Like I say, he loves that aggressive AWP on the T side. Still, though, this kind of a buy, it's what we saw Movistar Riders. They stole that round away back in like round 5, 6, I believe. So maybe they can do it again. Mopos very lucky to get away. That might just stop the aggression for now.
And that's the airstrike coming through. That's with the M4 is all the way over towards the A site. Do still have Keto. Gonna take charge. No, not the very effective dive plan. This is a CT who's a lean, mean killing machine as it is. Maybe not reflected on its stats so much, but it's okay. I'm going to forgive you for that one. Now they have to move through. There's a Molotov in their pathway. Brocky's been blocked off, and he's been killed by Alex's CZ. And Mixwell with the AWP will be able to get another shot in as well, leaving it all down to Mopos to try and get a kill over here from the boosted Flowerpot's area. He will be able to come in from the back lines. The MP9 very effective, and now Crucial's not got HP. His barrel has been revealed, and Mopos is just backing off as well, playing it perfectly. The second Crucial starts going for this plant. Mopos knows he's got the opportunity to go in and get the kill from behind. Mopos the man of the hour, getting 2 from behind, and that will be the 4th round for Movistar Riders.
Yeah, really well played, honestly, from Mopos especially, just to escape. Not afraid to let him get the bomb. Has that information that comes through that he's pretty low. It's kind of a messy round from Epsilon, ultimately, the main reason being Movistar Riders playing 3 on B. Most of those players have utility. The pesky B smokes, it can really, really test your patience. If one of them goes down at the right time, suddenly you've got a second and a third on top of it. There's nothing you can do. A Molotov as well as that. You know, they would really just stop by the utility game, Epsilon, and it's frustrating to play against in a round because you want to get aggressive, you want to be pushing in, especially when that clock is running down. So, really well played by Movistar Riders all round, I have to say, on that B-bomb site. Coming into this round as well, now it is a weaker buy for Epsilon. Suddenly things are once again looking good for Movistar Riders. We've said this a couple times this game. Are they eventually going to be able to get over that, that kind of final hurdle to even things back up, maybe take the lead? We'll have to see in this round. Epsilon clearly got plans with the utility.
And Mixwell hasn't been blocked off by that utility, which means that things are still going to be a little bit toasty for him as fire finally gets thrown his way. They're coming in from apartments. They've already traded 1 for 1 on the site. Mixwell can't do much. He's been blocked off by Smoke, and Alex, well, he's just been burnt alive. Gets 1 kill at the very least, so it's still a 2 versus 3. Things aren't too easy for Epsilon just yet. A Molotov coming in to try and make sure there's no one in quad, but the real danger is going to be coming in. That's Mopos, and he's been taken down. But do they realize Soccer's also coming in from the back lines? There were 2 in the apartments region. Mixwell. Inside library. Waiting for them to come in. Crucial still watching the back lines, and he will get the kill. And now Mixwell forced back, courtesy of that Molotov, trying to reposition himself. 20 seconds on the clock, and he still wants to go for this. This is the Mixwell we know and love. He's got a kit, but he doesn't have HP. What's the play over here, Mixwell? Are you going to go in? Seems like he will back off and play a little bit more conservatively. Remember, they don't have loss bonus on the side of Movistar Riders. This is a $1,400 round loss. So they know they need that AWP in the next round to have even a chance of walking away with anything.
All right. So, Mopos, it's 3v2. You know where the bomb is. You know where one half of the team is at. So either A, right, the other player is with his teammate, or B, on the other side of the map trying to flank you, right? So there's not a great deal that you have to think about because there's only 2 players. That's a joy of being in a 3v2. But all the same, for some reason, he decides to push in behind and try and make some sort of a hero play that's just not really needed. And then he brings it back into a 2 versus 2. There's plenty of time for Epsilon, and they just wait it out. Mixwell does exactly the same thing, kind of seemingly having the same thought process. And they sort of... not Mixwell, sorry. Deaths, I believe. And just kind of needlessly throwing things away. I don't know. It was a 3v2. It was an easily winnable round at one point for Movistar Riders. And Mopos just making a silly decision. And it seems like a lot of the team like to do that. It's sort of frustrating to watch in places, I'm going to be honest, T-Time, this Movistar Riders side.
This is why I'm happy about my ignorance. I can just have fun watching the fireworks. I can have fun watching Keto take heads off. And while those heads are going to stay off as they're heading the deck on the B side, 3 players on A will be trying to save away. Quick little round from them. And, I get what you're saying. Movistar, they should be the ones who've got, some of that veteran savvy spirit in them, but it seems like Epsilon, who are made of a combination of up-and-comers and somewhat has-beens, but they're doing a lot better. Surreal and Crucial, of course, they've been around in the scene for God knows how long, and they've always been some of those players who do very well at the tier 2, tier 2.5 scene, and then have a very sharp drop-off immediately afterwards. So Epsilon so far have been the ultimate gatekeeper team, but with the advent of people like Brocky, Spellin, Keto, maybe they can make something work out.
This round a really good showing of that as well. Really, really clean stuff from them. They eliminate everybody. And now Movistar Riders find themselves in a difficult economic spot. I believe with where the loss bonus is at for them, it is probably okay to just eco this one out. Maybe do one of those cheerleader stacks, as you like to call them. and look to find a cheeky couple of frags. As you can see, one smoke, couple flashbangs. They're all going to be moving towards B. Epsilon have shown that the B-bomb site is definitely their favorite. They go for this banana control round after round after round, and you can see why. Sure, there's no armor there for Alex, but they just are so perfect on this utility. Look at that. So much damage coming in from them. I think this B stack is pretty much nullified at this point.
Oh! That's one way to add to that nullification. 2 kills through the smoke, and Brocky, well, he just saw that AK being picked up. So it's his turn to chime in, and it will be him and Crucial finishing off that round. There were practically 0 casualties that were seen. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. Sometimes we like to turn the lights off. Hey, Scriv.
Suppose so.
9-4 in Epsilon. You know what, Scriv? I'm getting a little bit of faith restored into them. And I'm always, this is the problem with casting MDL. You always get so much promise from certain teams, and then it's just like you start hoping for them. It's like having a child and hoping he's going to grow up and be special, when you know the probability is that he's not going to be. But of course, sometimes we have some breakouts. Sometimes we have that ends coming in. Sometimes we've got that vitality. You know, Virtus Pro these days is looking pretty hot as well. Epsilon, are you going to be the next big boys?
I think they're, like, just a few, like I say, I'm kind of a fan of this team. You know, obviously, remaining impartial to the game and all that kind of stuff. But I think a couple more things go their way. Maybe, you know, move 1 or 2 players around and pull in someone else if it doesn't work out in the next few months, and they could be something fantastic.
I'm going to cut you off there because action's happening. Alex and... Well, not Alex. Dets and Mixwell getting 1 apiece, and now Dets is looking for more. Will get it right at the last bullet as well. So a little bit more pressure put on to Spellin and Crucial, who are still a bit too deep into enemy lines to try and walk away with a save, and it seems like Soccer will reinforce that theory. Crucial, 1 versus 5. He's got this in the bag. I believe in him, and you probably shouldn't. Probably shouldn't. But hey, he's going to come back better next round, where they've got money for days.
Yeah, I don't know, a bit of a fast one. Honestly, just didn't really work out. Like I say, they've been favoring that B bomb site this time around. They decide to go charging in towards A, and it just all falls apart. Unfortunately, that perfect crossfire between balcony and the A site itself, very difficult to break apart, especially when there's that smoke down. You know, it's just chaotic really, and plays perfectly into the hands of the CTs. I think they were kind of prepared for that hit as well with the quick rotational play that they had going on. Now a bit of confidence coming in from them as well, as they actually face against this banana control, but it does not work out. Alex gets 1 and a 2-for-1 trade. Definitely not going to be worth. See what more Soccer can find. We'll be back into a 3 versus 3, but it's the HP advantages right now that's heavily in favor. Oh, and that's so very awkward. That's going to take down Surreal on the other side of the map as well. It looks like... Oh! Okay. All right, not a headshot. He knows his angles. I thought it was a bit more mental, but all the same, really good stuff from Movistar Riders towards the end.
Yeah, this is shaping out to be an interesting one. Movistar Riders making it interesting, which is a little bit redundant because I just called it an interesting one. Listen, Scriv, it's halftime, man. Walk me through some better vocabulary. What's a good synonym for interesting?
All right, you really put me on the spot. I don't know, like eye-opening, maybe?
That is not correct at all, Scriv. You know what? But you know what, Scriv? I'm gonna take this 15 seconds before we get into the first round. So you just decide what you're gonna do for analysis while they buy up. 12 seconds left for me. Virtus Pro looks so legit these days. I costed them last week in Mountain Dew League as well. I saw their game versus FaZe as well. I'm not joking. Their structural integrity to how they're playing looks so good. Their map pool looks decent as well. They're doing well on certain maps that other teams don't play that often, but still don't ban out that often. I am so excited for this new VP. But let's get back into this one.
Yeah, so something to comment on quickly, just before we get into the action. A lot of teams these days on Inferno going for the double utility on the pistol on their T side. So something to certainly consider. I mean, it's not really worked out as well here for Movistar Riders, but the aggression with the Glocks, and it's going to be difficult for these USPs. You kind of miss one shot and you go down, honestly. Couple trades coming back through, but it's that opening pick that the T's were able to find. It means it's a 3 versus 2, obviously, in their favor, and with a great deal of time left, as you can see, they don't have to heavily dedicate to that B-bomb site. They can back away, they can maybe keep the CTs guessing, and it would seem to be working out. They've split the defense pretty heavily here.
Real and Crucial. No kits on them. Where maybe Crucial can, move forward, recover that one, but it'll take a while for him to get onto the site. So they're definitely playing for a retake. Surreal has to land a few shots from long range, gets a few, but those blinks are to the foot. That's the worst possible place for it to land. They've still got another smoke as well, so they can just re-smoke off this angle and block him out again. So it's all on the Crucial. Coming in from the side. He will be the difference maker. He will bring down the hammer of judgment. Now the question is, where will it land? As a second smoke comes through as well, Crucial has to give a distraction to his teammate to be able to push out, but the distraction will be his death. Mopons and Alex quickly finding 1 apiece, and Movistar makes it a 7.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You would think in that situation, everything going right for Epsilon in the beginning. The nades and flashes and whatnot, obviously those 2 smokes in the end really did help them out, but for the most part, that early utility from Movistar Riders not really doing anything. Then they move towards B, where Epsilon have got a 3-man stack at the top of Banana around the sandbags area, but just not hitting their shots. Ultimately, the execution did not back up the theory, so a bit of a shame, and it's one of those things, the USP, like I sort of said during the round, if you miss like 1 or 2 shots when Glocks are coming at you, it's over. Because you can't go for the body spam. You've got to be hitting those headshots cleanly. Otherwise, the Glock train is just going to mow you down. And that's exactly what we saw at the top of Banana. Then they play it well. They don't get too ahead of themselves. They slow things down, move back towards A, and split Epsilon up. And again, keep them guessing. Keep that defense unsure of what the game plan is.
Well, right now the game plan is just try and frag out of control, but Mopos, well, he is following that game plan to a T. Didn't realize that was Epsilon's plan, but you know what? It works for anyone. I've heard that that's a pretty good universal plan, Scriv. Crucial will be coming through with the USP to see whatever he can do, but it seems like all he can do is be fodder for the MAC-10, be money for the wallet, and be another gravestone to litter the infernal yard. Now it's all down to Brokey, alone in a wasteland, and Mopos will put him out of his misery, surrounded by enemies, and that's how he dies. It's a sad way to go.
It really is, but B, if things continue, it might not be the only time that happens to him. Movistar Riders looking really good. The past 4 rounds, I believe, in a row for them, if you count the end of the first half, and that confidence, that revitalization that we saw towards the end, bodes well coming into this T side. Momentum-based team, momentum-based side of the map for sure. Bit of a failed Molotov there, but not going to be the end of the world because no one's going into apartments for Epsilon. They are playing this very passive. You can see, this is definitely the juxtaposition from their T side. They are scared, they are nervous, they don't have a great deal of utility to work with, they don't have any kits at all, so it's going to come down to the frags, the crossfires, which they are looking to be set up in early on. Nice opener from Spellan. So we're going to get 1 Spellan coming in with 2 more. And that is certainly what they needed. The individual to step up. Open plant from Alex, but a very difficult 1 versus 3 for him gets underway.
He's got the utility though, but will they be pushing through it? Crucial doesn't even need to. He just sidesteps the Molotov and he'll be fine. And listen, Scriv, I don't know about you, but last time I saw the face of someone who's scared and nervous, they don't just bull rush onto his site. So you might want to scratch those words off because Movistar Riders, they weren't scared and they weren't nervous, but they were definitely not in the right frame of mind. Let's just put it that way. They were a bull who'd seen red, and unfortunately that leads them to being dead on the site. Just a quick mow down from Spellan and company, and just simply put, it's a massacre on the site. Movistar Riders couldn't do anything.
Yeah, just not effectively trading really, and ultimately I feel like they should have done because they played it well, right? They took down the player at New Box before facing the player at First Oranges, but when they did face him, he managed the 2K particularly. That first kill was pretty easy for him, but the double spray down was very nice indeed. So it's unfortunate. Movistar Riders, they do the best that they can. It's just not quite good enough in that situation. And once the rifles have come back into play, Epsilon are once again top dog. They've come back onto it. And a lot of early damage being done here to the T side as well. It's just getting worse and worse. I think this has always been the case in this game. Maybe in this matchup between these two teams in the past. Epsilon are just one step ahead, and it's really not that far. Movistar Riders, 1 or 2 rounds go their way, the game is in their favor, you know? But don't seem to be able to. Every time it comes to that final hurdle, you know, they just fall flat.
Well, that final hurdle is getting closer and closer for them, Scriv. So let's see whether they can pick themselves up by their bootstraps and do what must be done. Crucial and company will stand in their way. The rail playing from on top of the railing, waiting for Dets to push in. He and Crucial will be the first points of contact respectively, but Crucial is looking the wrong way. No flashbangs to support him either. He desperately needs one to come through. There goes the flash, but it doesn't land, and that means Alex can just come in from behind. Surreal as well, brought down from his perch, and it will be a 2 versus 2. They were able to get a few kills, Brocky in particular finding 2. Keeps things possible for Spellin and Keto. They both have hits, they both have weapons, they have 1 flashbang. They don't have positioning to deal with Mixwell, who's playing from a very interesting angle where he does at the very least secure the entirety of the library area. Now he knows that there's players coming from the other side as well. That's where Soccer comes into play. Both of these players doing what they can. Mixwell barely dodging those bullets through the wall. He should have gotten that kill, and yes he does. Mixwell makes it 2. Beautifully done. 10-9. Movistar Riders barely get away. And I mean, over there, you saw them trying to wallbang through, well, the wall. That's generally how wallbangs go. But Mixwell barely getting away to safety.
Yeah, maybe just kind of work on that. You can definitely, as you see, wallbang it with an AK. I don't think it does a great deal of damage unless it's in the head. But if you work on your angles, I think most people are going to be tucked into that corner.
He had 17 HP, man. That's the point.
Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
But it's kind of a tough one. It's a bit more situational. Obviously, we saw earlier on in the game Mixwell with that wall banging towards Pit. Sometimes that's going to land. Sometimes, you know, more often than not, I would say you go for it once and then you're like, oh, well, there must not be anyone there, or I don't want to take too many shots because my team need me to move in, etc. But in this round, the difficulty there, I think, for Epsilon is breaking apart that crossfire in on the site is so very difficult. You have to, like, the first face that you go for, it has to be a headshot. It has to be the kill pretty quickly. Otherwise, the second player is going to move out. You're distracted. You're blocking your teammate behind you because you're coming in together. Kind of the right idea to go in together, but at the same time, it ended up being a bit more of a hindrance. So Movistar Riders, they put themselves in a really good position, and they play it perfectly in the post-plant scenario. And now Epsilon going to be on the pistols. Not looking too good. This is the chance. This is the chance for Movistar Riders to maybe regain some kind of a lead in this game.
You gotta have certain amounts of trepidity, though, as Epsilon with the Deagles can still prove to be a big hurdle. Deagles, of course, the bane of everyone's existence. Once in a lifetime, those rounds come around, and that's where the other team is just wondering what went wrong. No pause. Inching through. Bomb going over towards the A bomb site though. Crucial sees one and he barely gets it. It's a dirty one, but at the end of the day, a frag is a frag, no matter how long it takes you to get it. And with that, they think it's a stack over towards the A side, and they are correct in making that judgment call. Keto will be peeking out wide with the Eagle pretty soon. As soon as that smoke comes his way, needs to make sure he gets at least 1 kill. Misses the shot, though, and that means Alex can respond. Brokey, at this point, he's hoping to get lucky, because so far, luck hasn't been siding with them for very long. 10 seconds on the clock, and they will get the bomb plant. Surreal switches out for a Deagle, and it seems like that will be all she wrote for the Epsilon side.
I think they would have liked a bit more damage from that. Maybe an opportunity to get a bit more here. As Movistar Riders, with very little money in the bank, are facing. Spellang going to get one. The underpass, but Mixwell looking so good on this AWP right now. That is scary. He's similar in a sense, you know, it seems in this game. Normally we say, T-side Inferno, you don't really need the AWP. It's something you fall back on. But both Crucial and Mixwell, as soon as the opportunity arises, they have picked up that AWP, and it's clear why. It's paying dividends. But we've got something a bit different from Epsilon coming into this one. We've got a double AWP setup from them. Again, no kits and very little utility. You know, it's a stringy buy. It is the bare bones buy.
A stringy buy. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that one away from you.
Ooh, I'm gonna be careful. But yeah, I mean, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I don't mind.
Okay. Got it. Let's work with what we've got. You know. It's Epsilon. It's their time for a good old feast or famine buy, where they've got themselves all the guns and none of the utility. See what they can make happen with it, though. Crucial with the AWP. He's been distracted by a flying smoke. It's a little bit like a cat that way. The second you see a laser pointer, every AWP player will just flick away. You get very, very worried, and rightfully so, because Soccer could be moving in, but he gets the first kill. That's a bomb dropped as well. He's waiting for the recoverer to come through, and that's a second. Mixwell responds, but too little, too late. But as I say, that Dets has already come through from the heavens and gotten a quick kill. Surreal hoping to find something through this gap in the smoke. He sees Mixwell, but he couldn't pull the trigger in time. And that means that, ooh, nicely done. Dets actually brought down fairly low. Alex as well, only sitting on 17 HP, not too pretty. Hero allowing his teammate to boost up on top of him. Surreal hoping to find Alex or anyone else that comes their way, but in a 10-10 without a kit, with bomb having ticked down this far, Epsilon decide to go for what we call a tactical retreat.
Yeah, I suppose, again, like you say, it's just that lack of any kind of utility ultimately to get them in here, and obviously the cash that they don't have available, I suppose I should say. But I don't know, that one could really have been I saw it in my mind's eye, you know, going south. Mopos walking around the corner with the bomb like that was a bit foolish, I think, especially completely dry with no teammates around. He has made a few mistakes with some miscalculated aggression, let's say. That's kind of putting it nicely. In certain places. Did it a few times on the CT side, just did it there. Not quite aware of his surroundings and maybe the plan that the team has. And it forces Movistar Riders to obviously just keep on moving forwards, recover that bomb, and hit the A-bomb site, you know, inevitably. Thankfully, it works out. But there is a world, you know, there is a parallel universe in which that play goes terribly, terribly wrong for Movistar Riders.
I mean, let's be realistic. There's a lot of parallel universes where that play goes wrong in Movistar Riders. This isn't some Avengers 1 in 14,605,065 possibilities. But they make it work, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So Epsilon, they've got 3 players with guns. They've got 2 players with deagles. And they've got a little bit of hope off the back row. So let's see what they can get. Spellin getting aggressive early into mid, finds Dets over to second mid. So that's quite nice for them to start off things. Keto realizes that, you know what, they're probably coming his way if there was that player going over towards apartments as slowly as he was. But Keto flashed up, looking for the kill, will miss it entirely, and that means that from the other side they have to respawn. Surreal might want to boost up onto Spell, and that's exactly what they're going for, but the Molotov on side their feet will end up being a catalyst for destruction. Crucial and Brokey now just backing off. 11 will turn to 12, and Epsilon, well, somebody call Peter Pan, because they figured out a way to stay at 10.
Indeed. This is really not looking too good. I mean, sure, it's a round where you don't expect them to get too much, and you like the idea, or at least I like the idea of the late boost in CT at B, but ultimately you don't expect too much. They didn't really pop off. Spelling gets the 1 kill, they recognize where the AWP is, and then they kind of play it safe and, you know, don't go near him again. And yeah, Movistar Riders have really taken control of this game. Just a couple rounds now away from ultimately securing things. Epsilon having only picked up 1 in this half. That first rifle round as well. You know, you expect them to start rolling with their CT side, but no, they pick up the 1 round, Movistar Riders straight back into it, and looking like a completely different team from that first half, in all honesty. We saw flashes of hope at the very end of the first half, a good bit of confidence towards the end, and it seems to have carried them on through here coming into their T side. And Epsilon just shook at the moment. Double up setup once again in play. Didn't quite work out for them last time, almost, but not quite. We'll see this time if they can pull it into its full potential.
Grenade. Ooh, nicely done. Soccer and Deaths. Both of them. Tagged down heavily. That is a chunky boy in the grenade. It's one of the most satisfying things in the world, watching a grenade take away 2 players. It's like down to half HP.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
job,
it goes,
guys.
I think it goes both ways. It's like the least satisfying thing as well when you see a nade and then it gets like pixel blocked and does like 2 damage when you feel like it should have done at least 60, you know?
That's true. That's true. That's where Crucial, well, he just had a lot of damage dealt to him too. He's brought down very quickly by Deaths, who was able to double peek the Opper. Crucial, at the very least, did his job and got 1 in tandem. But now there's still a lot of pressure being put onto this A side. And remember, Keto still can't rotate away either safely. There's 35 seconds left on the clock, sure, but he doesn't realize that the bomb is all the way over towards his A side. They could have very well turned tail and run. And well, speaking of turning tails, Mixwell is considering moving that tail over towards the other side of the map. It seems like Keto will be the difference maker yet again, as it will be Spellin trying to find 1 through the smoke, even get successful, so now they know exactly what's going on. Keto, all the pressure is on you, my friend, as they're going to peek forward. Keto gets the first from Newbox, 8 seconds on the clock as well, and now comes in the fast rotation. Brocky trying to flash over the skybox as well. That won't work out for you, my friend. Spellin. Surreal getting on top of the logs to take down Soccer, leaving Mixwell alone versus 3. Mixwell knows where Brocky is coming from. He's waiting for it, but he'll actually end up peeking out. Brocky gets that kill any day of the week, and Epsilon bring it back in their favor.
Better late than never, I suppose, but I don't know, this momentum, the second half, the game itself, really favouring Movistar Riders at the moment. That was an awfully close one. It's going to, as you can see, really cost them to replace those lost weapons, especially when they're trying to keep the double up setup in play. Really surreal who would have any money to buy up into the next round, to be honest. We'll see. Could be the chance for Epsilon, but again, it's Movistar Riders. It's their opportunity. It's another very, very key swing round where the Spaniards could definitely take the game off the back of this. You know, they win this round, they crush their opponents, and suddenly there's hardly any money. It's probably going to be 14-11 before another buy for Epsilon comes through. So, really do need to pick up this round. I mean, worst case scenario for them, they need to save. You know, if everybody dies in this round, I feel like the game might pretty much over for Epsilon. So, a really key round.
Oh, Crucial barely missed that one. He was so close to getting it as well. But now he's been blocked off by smoke, and with that, all opportunity for an early pick goes to the wayside as well. Spellin gets 1 onto Alex. It's through the smoke, and it seems like there's been a lot of those kills happening, actually, in this game. There's a lot of kills through smoke. Surreal. He's in a bit of an awkward position right next to Card. Means that he can't really block Death from staying true to his name, but Crucial's been charged with that responsibility instead, and he will fulfill it to perfection. Spellin waiting for them to cross over, misses the shots on 1, will not miss the shot. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I thought he'd get that one. I predicted a bit too early, Script. That's why I'm not an analyst, and you are, but that's why we've got Keto as well to pick up the slack and then die immediately afterwards. Keto, thanks for that. 5 seconds on the clock, and Crucial knows Mopos had to go for the plant. Nothing to do there. Movistar winding the clock down a bit too far, and they end up paying the price.
Yeah, now it gets interesting as well. Obviously, this pause going to be coming in. Thought some kind of a tactical pause from Movistar Riders, because without the bomb plant, and the fact that, sure, they won so many rounds in a row, but, you know, they weren't really very decisive, let's say, in terms of the men that lived after a 1 round, it means that they've not got enough money to buy up solidly. So it's actually going to give Epsilon a chance to regain the lead. But we've all watched a lot of Counter-Strike, I'm sure. These are the rounds where Epsilon will just throw it all away, and Movistar Riders with the pistol. I'm prepared for the worst, put it that way. I hope I am wrong, but I have a feeling with this utility, with this pause that's come in, Movistar Riders have got plans right here, right now. See if they can put them into action and see if they work out.
I'm very curious about these fans. We've got time, Script. Go ahead. Tell me more about them.
Well, I mean, there's kind of the smokes. Obviously, you would expect they're moving towards B. The smokes that you expect on the B bomb site, right? Coffin, CT, Molotov in towards new box. Could quite easily clear that player out. A lot of flashbangs as well. You might as well go wild with them. So, splitting up the players on the B-bomb site at the moment, if this player in at new box is not able to get anything done, like if he just gets taken down, even a 1-for-1 trade.
Well, you heard the mastermind himself. Let's see whether what Scrib predicted is going to end up happening. There goes Keto. He found the first kill. There's a quick Molotov to new box to flush him out as well. Scrib, you're a goddamn oracle. And that's where it gets turned into a 4 versus 4 with the bombs being down. CZ picked up as well. Soccer is waiting for a close range angle to overwhelm Epsilon now. Crucial himself is feeling a little bit testy. Maxwell, who's picked up an AK-47, gets dangerously close to killing someone through the smoke. Re-peeks out and he gets one quick. Crucial does respawn, but it's still a 3 versus 3. Things aren't as clean as you'd expect, and that's where Brokey comes in to really flourish in the madness, gets 2 quick kills, and Surreal will finish off the round 13-12, but it was a close one.
Yeah, definitely costly for Epsilon. This next gun round, obviously if they lose this, not really going to have very much money left. So again, all to play, but it's very tense as CS at the moment, I think, is because of obviously the lost bonus changes, etc. But as it always has been, I suppose, towards the end of a game when it's very back and forth in this nature. What Epsilon did really well there, right, where they would have fallen flat, they lose the B-bomb site, and then everybody just charges in trying to retake. But they recognize they're up against a weaker buy, therefore meaning there's probably not as much utility remaining for that T side. And they just wait the timeout. They've got plenty of utility available, they've got the kits, it's a 4 versus 4, they don't need to get greedy, and they just wait slowly but surely. They know they've only dropped 1 AK, so in their mind, there's only 1 AK in play, get rid of him, and suddenly things become a lot easier. So instead of panicking and trying to overcompensate, trying to pull things back in their favor, they just play chill, and it works out. Again, cool, calm, and collected. Epsilon come out on top.
Can they maintain that? Though, that's a question. Can they keep cool? Can they keep calm? Can they keep collected? Because now their money's kind of whittling down. Now they're a little bit more in a precarious position. I mean, they've been kind of teetering on the edge for a while, but Movistars, they're probably realizing this at this point, that, hey, we're at a stage where we can completely take control of the game if we just win 1 quick round. The Real and Keto, Brokey as well, not looking too healthy as far as economy goes. And that's why they've got 3 players over towards the B site, so that they can try and save if they go over towards A. Surreal will get a kill through the smoke. It's a bit of a sloppy one because Malpa has had enough of an opportunity to find 2 in the meanwhile. So Surreal comes through from the other side, is hoping to get lucky with a second, but this time it won't be successful. And 4 versus 3, Epsilon, they're making the call. We have to try and save.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, Epsilon obviously picking things back up towards the end, but like I say, Movistar Riders just ultimately in control of this second half for much of it, and therefore it means that Epsilon have got that steeper hill to climb, as it were. Being on that CT side as well, it's much more punishing when you lose rounds in terms of the economy. I think this is good, though. If they'd have all gone down, I feel it would have been doom and gloom. Obviously now we're 13-13, but because particularly Crucial survives, one of the richer players, he can drop across. Going to have a pause here. There is going to be someone maybe on an SMG or whatever, looking at Keto, quite probably having that. I think. I swear they normally give the other AWP to Spellam. I about to eat my words? I'm not sure, but all the same. Okay, maybe I am. All right, well, all right, guys. That's a big middle finger to me. But nonetheless, I think...
Hey. Script. Don't put yourself down like that, okay? I believe in you.
All right, thanks,
Even
guys.
if, yeah, it is a bit of a big middle finger to you.
Yeah, it is. Especially because normally the Spellan, it's not even like spawn based. It's not like Keto's got a crazy spawn for mid or whatever. I guess it kind of spreads the money out because Spellan's on a FAMAS instead of having Keto on an SMG, but all the same. Either way, this is the opportunity. Movistar Riders, they win this one. It's going to crush this CT economy.
Ooh, nice shot from Mixwell to start things off. That is beautiful. And like you said, that's crucial going down. That's the AWP. So already they've had a lot of that early firepower mitigated. Good grenade response onto Mopos. Not as much damage as you'd expect, but it's enough for Keto to finish him off comfortably. I mean, it's an op shot. It would have been enough anyway. But hey, you never know. Maybe he would have clicked on the leg accidentally. For real. Wants to peek out onto Death's face, but it seems like Brokey is the one who's feeling a little bit more confident. Surreal. Going into apartments. Waiting for them all. He gets one kill and a bit slow to take him down, but the flashbang will assist him, and that Death gets two before being traded away. Spellan comes in hot with those 3 kills with the FAMAS, and you were asking why Keto picked up the AWP and Spellan had the FAMAS. Well, there's your answer.
I know, why has he got the AK, man? That was...
Yeah, just keep it.
That was such a good spray down. And another one from him, you know? He's having a great game. The in-game leader for Epsilon. Stepping up once again when his team needs him the most. I mean... Yeah, I was getting ready. Like, crucial, my guy. What are you doing? He just walks out middle, like, 20 seconds into the round. Wide peeks it with a nade in hand. I know what he's going for, obviously. It's like the deep nade towards Team Theirs, but it's way too late, right? There could have been any number of people out there. Oh! Ito, though, another through the smoke kill. And suddenly Epsilon have got a 2-man advantage. After that individual play, everybody seems to be, like, loving life, stepping it up. Movistar Riders now. On and out.
Great, we've seen a lot of through the smoke kills from Epsilon, actually. I mean, I would go ahead and say it's probably in the mid to high double digits.
Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of a difficult one to tell. Possibly because you follow the tracers, you know.
Oh, hey, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just generally commenting that, you know.
There's not been, like, super nutty headshots or whatever, or just random spray downs. I
just think it's very depictive of Movistar's style, actually, because they seem to be very telegraphed, and they seem to be playing it exactly the way you would expect. So they're pushing at the exact timings you think to spray down. They're kind of making moves that are very predictable, other than their initial setup, where you can't really tell where they're going to go, but once they've gone there, you know exactly how they're going to take over. So Surreal right now should have a pretty good idea of where they're going to come through from. He's waiting for Mopos to make the push forward. A smoke will come in, and that means now he has a chance. Mopos doesn't even check that, but instead Death comes in from behind. That is so weird. Not even interesting. That's just a little bit odd. The way Death is able to clean that angle out, even though they knew he's there, even though they know he's been playing that consistently. Negligence on the side of Epsilon.
Yeah, a little. Been all over the place at the moment for both these teams. I don't know about this retake. I'm not sure about the decision to go for this one. I feel like they should be saving. Deaths is just popping off right now, and 4K for him. Single-handedly winning that round right there for the Spaniards.
Yeah, that was a weird round. Because see, here's the problem with that round. You expect them to have a player watching over towards the top of balcony when you've got someone underneath balcony hard committing for the players, that is Mopos and Mixwell, who are making the cross into the site. So not having anyone to provide backup to your, you know, main hard peeking personnel, that's kind of, you know, CT side 101. And the worst thing is, at that point, when Deaths actually came down, That's exactly when the smoke was thrown. It hadn't even bloomed yet. So theoretically, someone from library could also just be watching over to the balcony.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, you know, you might think it's a little thing, but obviously he capitalizes perfectly. Has the round of his life because you give him that seemingly small window of opportunity, but he really he shows you why you shouldn't be neglecting to hold those kind of angles. Now they're paying the ultimate price, a force buy. They lose this one, probably another force buy to take us to overtime. So it's going to be tough. I think Movistar Riders, if they play things well, the odds are heavily in their favor for the next 2 rounds.
Hero. Kiro's been good, man. Honestly, Kiro's been very good on this B side. The numbers aren't reflective of his impact on the game so far. He's very much been helping his team stay in it. Crucial gets one shot in. That's enough for Surreal to comfortably finish anyone off, but Death comes in from behind and does end Crucial's life. 40 seconds left on the clock. This is so dangerous. Movistar Riders is really winding down the clock versus pistols and UMPs, and they should know this can go desperately wrong for them. If you lose the bomb at this point, that's where, you know, you kind of lose everything. Keto as well to do that for an AK. In the meanwhile, Surreal comes down. That's what I'm talking about. Brocky as well gets one. Surreal is still undetected. Well, he's undetected, but he's unkilled. He's alive on 1 HP. Not enough to play around with, but Keto, well, he's just going to push through. He's looking for one. It's a sloppy spray, and that means Mixwell can just come in from the side and get him before finishing off the round as well. That, honestly, if he just killed the bomb planter, that round was in their favor.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, though. I suppose when he walks out, he doesn't quite know where the bomb planter is. You know, he sees someone in front of him. From the perspective I was watching anyway, from Mixwell's, you know, we don't know if there's anyone actually facing him when he comes through that smoke. Just a tough one, again, based on the buy. You know, the setup looked pretty good, but you can see the panic is there. Surreal just holding Mouse 1, you know, when he comes flying down. Brocky doing the same on that MP9, kind of neglecting, it doesn't care that his teammate's in front of him, just trying to get the crazy spray. And yeah, I think Epsilon have just allowed this to slip through their fingers, unfortunately.
It's one of those rounds, you know, getting close towards the, you know, the 30 round mark. You've got, you know, your hands sweaty, all the Eminem stereotypes, you know, just kicking into play there and then. This is where Alex, early Molotov out, secondary Molotov even used, and they're not really skimping out on utility usage this time. Movistar, they cut it close in the previous round. Safe to assume that perhaps they don't want to be as hesitant to go onto a side this time.
Definitely was dangerous, as you say, in that previous round. You know, 1 or probably if they'd have got 2 more kills go their way, Epsilon definitely would have taken the round just because the clock had been run down so far. This is the thing, making risky decisions like this. Normally you would say in a pistol round, like, you know, a buy like this, it's fine, but they're so far gone in the game, like you shouldn't have to be making decisions like this to take us to overtime. And I don't think it's going to work out because Movistar Riders, again, aware of the fact, weak economy, probably a very weak buy all across the board, and they're just keeping them guessing, trying to bait out some utility, trying to bait the defense from Epsilon. Surely they've got to figure out that it's not going to be B. Instead of rotating back, though, it looks like they're trying to get aggressive, and now the jig going to be up, but there's only 1 player in on the A bomb site to hold things down, and they are clearing out the main point of rotation for this CT side. Really well done by Movistar Riders. Certainly running the clock down, so if they don't deal with the player in on the site cleanly, spoke too soon, they will do. Bomb plant should be coming in easily enough in just a second, and 4 versus 2. Okay, 2 versus 2. Watch out.
Felon alone, he's just getting 1, and now it's 1v3. Deagle in hand. He's gotten 2 kills so far for his team, but without a kit, he has to step up. He's fighting for overtime right now, but Mopos, he is fighting for the win. No ammo either, 1 bullet, and he's forced to reload. Dets knows exactly where he is. Spelling's made his way onto the site, and Dets takes it away. That will be that. Movistar Riders win it out after being down 11-4. Boys, that being said, Scriv, ending thoughts for me. I thought that was a bit of a sloppy T side, but even worse CT side. When it came to how Epsilon dealt with Movistar Riders, they seem to have a very telegraph style of play overall, but you know what? They got the win out, and that's what matters.
Yeah, true. I think certainly, they'd worked on some things in practice in scrims, and just rinse and repeating that at the end of the day. But we definitely saw their individuals stepped up, especially Mixwell on that T side with the AWP. I wouldn't say single-handedly, but was definitely part of the win. Like a big part of the win was him stepping up and just catching off that AWP consistently because they were winning relatively, clean rounds. They were able to get it out a lot, and he was continuously a nuisance. Nobody on Epsilon seemed to be able to deal with him cleanly.
Oh, absolutely. But that being said, we've got another fantastic game coming up right around the corner. It'll be starting very soon, so you might not even see our acceptable faces, right before we get into the game. I'm talking about myself, not Scriv. This man, I mean, that's James Corden over here. But that being said, we're going to be back very soon with the second game. Stay tuned, and remember, if you're going to go anywhere, it's to go get yourself some of that sweet, sweet game fuel.